everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Everybody do the awkward Zoom wave. Well, I'm excited to jump into this. Planning the event, I feel a little bit of overwhelm. I feel a little bit of burnout. So I'm like, this is going to be perfect. And then I thought, well, if nobody else is into it, but you would not believe, ladies, the messages I've gotten, the chat for today, it's blowing up. So I think we're gonna help ease some hearts and change some lives today, right?
That's right.
All right,
Love it.
let's begin with some introductions. Let's just go around and, if you guys want to give your elevator pitch, tell a bit about you. We have some links so you can connect with everybody at the end. We will drop those for you. But Michelle, would you like to start?
Sure. I'm Michelle Beaton. I'm the content creator behind Weekend Craft, and I'm helping you craft a home and a life that you love. So I am essentially a blogger, social media, and then also I want to run a content creation studio. So from the creative entrepreneur side here, I am kind of like an influencer to, the outside world, but then also I create a lot of content for brands, whether it be their social media channels, product photography, or doing like Amazon videos for them. So I run a studio outside of Boston, and I have been a content creator now for going on 11 years. And I have been full-time now for almost 2.5 years. So I like to say I jumped off that corporate ladder, and I am now a creative entrepreneur. So that is just a little bit about me. You can find me everywhere. I'm at Weekend Craft on all channels.
Sweet. And if you want some really good, yummy, easy to make recipes, she is also the one that you want to follow. All right, KariAnne.
Hey, y'all. Okay, so I am KariAnne Wood, and I write a blog. I've done it for 12 years now called Thistlewood Farms, and it's all about simple, easy decorating ideas. There are tons of stories, y'all. I live in the house that I grew up in. It's an amazing story. We bought it back. It wasn't even on the market, and we were able to buy it back from the couple that my mom had sold it to. I love mixing patterns and color and just generally bringing joy, but I am also about making money too, y'all. So we have Thistlewood Farms has currently 5 employees, and we have 27 different revenue streams and different ways that we make money and bring money to the blog, including I'm an author. I, of course, work with brands. There are ads on all of my channels. I'll
do this shameless plugs for you.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. But I'm also just about enjoying the journey and having so much fun. And I am so honored to be here. Shelly has been a hero of mine for a long time. And what an amazing panel that you have put together. And I just really want to pour into all of our attendees and just really give y'all encouragement that you can do it. It is possible. There are people making money, and you can do it.
Yes. And there's room for everyone. I think that's kind of she's doing it, so there's not room for me. So that's like a separate session on its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. And Sara, do you want to jump in?
Hi, everybody. I'm Sara McDaniel, and I blog over at simplysouthern.cottage.com, and I am Simply Southern Cottage across all platforms on social media. And I craft a little differently than the 3 other girls on this channel. So my crafting is around taking blighted and historic properties and turning them into works of art. But the interesting fact about this is that I started my career as a public school teacher, and then I was an educational sales rep. And like Michelle, in 2019, I left my W-2 job and went all in on content creation and real estate investing. So fast forward today with a lot of water under the bridge. I walked through a horrible divorce that propelled me to get to where I am today. I renovated this home that I'm sitting in right now. I painted my front door a bright, happy yellow. And so now I get the incredible privilege of showing up in my space every single day and paralleling my life story alongside the story of reclaiming and redeeming historic properties. I live in Minden, Louisiana. I have short-term rentals, long-term rentals, working on flips, and it is such a privilege to be here with you all today. So thank you, Shelley, for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here too. I'm excited. And it was fun when we got to meet and I got to stay in your cottages and see your house with the yellow door.
You
I
did.
never heard of Minden, and
Now
now
you
I can forget it. Too funny. Okay. Let's dive in. I have to look at my agenda because I get chatting and then sometimes I forget where I'm going. But I have a list of questions. We have a little bit of time, I think, at the end. We'll see how chatty we all get. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat as you think of them, and we can come back to them. Okay, so number one, is there a certain time that you feel more burnout or overwhelm? KariAnne, do you want to jump in?
You know what? I discovered something along the way. So for 12 years, y'all, I have been doing this. And I say that because, okay, I feel like this OG in a world of all these brand new people that are doing it. And so that is a question I get asked all the time. Like, how did you keep it? How are you still going? How are you still excited? And my best tip on that is I truly believe I write the type of blog and the type of social media that I want to read. And I also do things that inspire me. So, for example, at the beginning of the pandemic, I lost 105 pounds. And I did it kind of the old fashioned way. It was a lot of saying, no, get away from me, Oreos.
Yes.
And along the way, I discovered, wait, I really like fashion. And people would say, well, you're a home decor blog. You can't really do that. Well, no, yes, you can. To me, if it's interesting to me, I've worked so hard to develop this incredible community. So if it's something that's interesting to me, then they generally are along for the ride. So my best tip probably to avoid burnout or times when I do feel burned out, I try to lean into things that bring me joy. And then that kind of comes through my platforms in that they say, okay, like KariAnne likes this and she's so excited. I mean, y'all have never met anybody more excited to watch American Idol than me. And so the big finale was last night, just in case anybody missed it. It was amazing. And so, but those are some of my highest rated stories over this past month is I just kept talking about American Idol and how much I loved it. And, you're like, well, that's not really on brand. You're home decor, but I just find if you do the things that you love and bring that to the table, then your audience will come right along with you.
Yes, I think that's kind of the key essential of bringing that social back to social media, where it's not just a brochure anymore. I love that.
That's a great line. Social back to social media. That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. You can go ahead, use that.
Have no fear, my friend. I'm making notes. KariAnne making notes over here.
That's good. All right, Michelle, how about you? What do you do like certain times, or is there a certain time that you feel it more than others?
Definitely. For me and my business, Q4, so October to December is my busiest time. I make on kind of the content creator influencer side of things. I make 40 to 50% of my income in November, December. So for me, that is like our Super Bowl. I start preparing for Q4 usually in July. And over the years, like I've become known for my Christmas trees. I do 5 to 6 Christmas trees a year. And then also holiday recipes. So if I can start preparing things earlier and getting ahead of it, it's being proactive instead of reactive is what I've learned a decade later. And then something that I think, as content creators or business owners, oftentimes we're stuck on what's new and we don't think about our old content or our old products where you created quality things, maybe not this year, maybe last year or the year before. Your audience may have grown. Why aren't you using that content again? And so for me, I think in the last 2 to 3 years, I've really started realizing, okay, I don't need to put out 5 to 7 new pieces of content every week for Q4. I can lean on some of my older stuff. And since I've done that, it's Q4 last year. I don't want to say it was a breeze, but I was able to heavily rely on my crafts from years past and focus more on recipes during that time. So that is my biggest way to avoid burnout, is to kind of prepare ahead of time, but then also look back into my archives and look back to see, okay, if you're an Etsy seller, what sold last year at Q4? Like maybe that's what's going to sell this year. Same thing with affiliate sales. Like I knew that, okay, the Ninja Creamy sold like crazy this summer. I know that when it went back in stock, that was going to be like the hot Christmas gift. So it's just kind of strategizing what worked before and what I can apply now.
I love that. And I think the planner girl in me really appreciated that planning ahead aspect that you brought up, but
Yes.
also stepping back. We had talked about that yesterday. Stepping back, look at your business, see what's working, and how can you lean into that, that lowest hanging fruit kind of.
Yeah, and maybe it's even looking at, okay, what didn't work last holiday season? And I'm not going to do that again this year. Like that was a lot of time and effort. Maybe I can jump into something new or dive deeper into something that did work.
Yes, not everything we put out is gold. We know that, right?
Yep.
All right, Sarah, how about you?
Yeah, so I hope I don't upset anybody when I say this, but the times that I feel the most burned out, I've done it to myself. I have a really, really hard time saying no to things. And when I get burned out, it is when I get so much on my plate and my phone is constantly going off. Emails are coming in, texts are coming in. People need things from me. And while it is my goal in life to get things to somebody on a deadline and on time, like I feel this constant pressure in my spirit because I always owe somebody something. And so one of the things that I have to be cognizant of is giving my best yes, and that's a quote from our author friend, Lisa Turkhurst. And sometimes our best yes is a no. And so I avoid burnout by saying no sometimes. And it just helps me keep my sanity and keep all of the ships afloat that I'm working on.
I think that's good, because when you start out first in business, you think, I can't say no, because if I say no,
that's right.
But if you say no to the wrong thing, it's going to open up more doors for the right thing.
That's right. That's right. That's that's another good quote, KariAnne.
I know. My children have told me I talk and mean quite often, so that's probably where it comes from. So when you do get to that point, I think we kind of covered that in the last one, but do you have any other last tips, anybody, about how you curb that? Is it kind of that planning thing like you had talked about, Michelle, or do you just need to walk away? I think mine would be just walk away in some me time, whether it's just sit with a cup of coffee, go for a walk.
I do think Michelle had a brilliant point that I just want to echo. I do find that, especially when you have created content for a while, Michelle, you mentioned you had quite an extensive library of past projects you've done. I think leaning into that and not feeling the guilt of like, hey, heads up, like, you created that, you put a lot of time and effort and thought into that. And sometimes even just reimagining content, there's a couple of super simple tips. Like, for example, you could do a roundup of your own content. You could also look at maybe a project or a tip from the reversed way instead of like what not to do, rather than, so one of my most popular posts is 5 decorating mistakes I made and how I fixed them. So looking at things from the reverse, perhaps showing a simple tip, and let's not ever underestimate, y'all. There are so many people out there searching on the web for things, super simple ways to do things. My most popular post on my blog that was written in 2013 was how to stuff a couch cushion. Like, what in the world? Like, I have these amazing rooms and like incredible projects. And they're like, how to stuff a couch cushion. And it's because apparently the world is all showing up wanting to know how to stuff couch cushions. So don't ever, to Michelle's point earlier, don't ever overlook the opportunity of that older content to work harder for you so you don't have to work as hard.
And I think it's also giving yourself permission to, you said walk away, Shelly, but like for me, okay, if I'm going to walk away, don't feel like you need to announce it. If you need to go disappear for a day or two, people more than likely aren't going to notice. And if they do, like that's like an evangelist fan that you have that's part of your community and that's like wants to check in on you. So if you have a posting schedule of like 3 to 5 days a week, chances are no one's going to notice if you step away. And so sometimes I'll like step away, I'll take a little bit of time for myself, but then I'm like a very big list person. So I'll list out everything I have to do and then kind of figure out the time blocking for it. So if I'm burnt out, I can then have a plan to move forward. Because I feel like with burnout, it's the overwhelm and you don't know what to do next to make all your deadlines. So figure out what is a real deadline and what is a self-imposed deadline, and then go from there.
Wait, you know what, y'all? I just thought I have an actual practical, super helpful tip to that point. Michelle, you put it into my brain. Okay, so here is the super simple way to repost old reels without having to it'll take you 30 seconds. Go find an older reel from and on Instagram is specifically what I'm referring to. Find an older reel from perhaps a year ago. Go into, as if you're going to edit it, there's a remix button. If you don't have it, just update the app. It's probably there. Hit the remix button. That will allow you to repost it, but Instagram forces you to change something on the reel. And all I do is I put like a little heart and then I pull it off the screen so you don't even know that it's there. I know, right? Do you see how that excited in my brain? And so you just put the little heart, pull it all the way off the screen. So your screen just appears the same. Everything is the same. And then hit publish. And you've basically created a brand new reel that you put all that work into. And to Michelle's point, I mean, it's like a year ago you posted it. Like, really? And you don't need to get on there and go, by the way, y'all, I posted this a year ago. I mean, this is old content. Like, hey, just keep it real. No, I'm just like, post, bye. Hi, guys. See you later. Like, it's this super simple. You can if it's like Monday morning and you've got to get your kids to school or you've got graduation parties or all this stuff is going on, it's overwhelming. Just go in there, click the remix button, put a heart, click publish.
I'm going to try that this week.
Me too.
So,
I have to say, this is perfect timing because my reel today is a repost of a reel from last August. And so I do that very thing. Like I was sitting around yesterday, like, oh my gosh, like, what am I going to post in the morning? I got nothing, So I went back through my feed and I looked at like, what is one of my most popular reels? And so I did it the hard way. I did not know about the remix way. So I'm going to do that. But I reposted today. And I'll tell you another practical tip that I love so much. So I tend to do my stories in real time, right? I mean, I bring everybody along for the day-to-day of what is happening in my life. Obviously, some things are planned out, especially if I have collaborations. But for the most part, I'm acting in real time. But my absolute favorite days on Instagram is when I've got all my content pre-recorded and like I can just live my life and I can just do like whatever and not have to film anything. And that is a great tip for me and maybe for some of you to avoid that burnout is pre-record your content when and where that you can and just like live your life and not for the internet or anybody else, just for you. It is so freeing and so relaxing. And I also love to take off. I usually try to do 1 week a month where if I'm not completely dark on social, like I do take off a couple of days and maybe just post something in stories here and there. And that gives me life, both of those things.
I like that. I think this came to mind as you guys were all talking is looking at that to-do list and do I really need to do it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do I have to show up in that story today? Is anybody gonna, yeah. Or even like that long to-do list in your planner or all the post-it notes on your monitor. Like, are you doing things that aren't producing?
Well,
So-
and
And
oh, sorry.
I was going to say also being organized. So like my life is chaotic. Like my home can be chaotic. My business is very organized. My studio is very organized. So I treat my phone the exact same way. So if I make a reel, it goes in a reels folder in my phone. If I have B-roll footage of just me in my studio or me in my kitchen, it goes in a folder in my phone. If I have Christmas content, it goes in a Christmas content folder. So then like it's almost like mindless for me that I'm like, okay, it's Thanksgiving, go to my Thanksgiving folder. Okay, we're going to post stuffing right now. So if you set yourself up to do these tasks every single time you're doing it, it's going to make it easier in the long run and it'll take less time. So it's like building those efficiencies over time. And sometimes like if I'm waiting in line or if I'm at the doctor's office and I know I'm like, my phone is a mess, I'll just sit there and put things into folders. Or if you have a VA and you have iCloud, it's a good task that they can do as well.
That's a good one. And I think it gets to be a habit. It's something that you'll appreciate later.
Yes.
Yes. Did you have something else to add?
Yes, I did. I was actually thinking, so I started challenging myself. So to Sarah's point, I love the idea of taping the stuff in advance. And then, it is so much like, and you look so like organized. You're like, oh yes, of course, here I am doing this. And here, really, you're like watching Judge Judy or something. You know?
Yeah.
Set me every day at 4:00. But anyway, I think that the one thing I started doing, and it's a kind of a challenge. And so I would really challenge everybody that's listening to this is to do one tape on stories. It's so much harder than what you think, but when you do it, it's so freeing. So if I start doing a story and something messes up, like a bird poops on my head or something, or like, like I stumble or I don't even know. So I'll give you the perfect example. The other day I have twin daughters and they came home from college and they walk in the door and I'm like, oh, girls. And so I film them coming in and here's me. I'm like, y'all, you just make this mama's head so happy. And I was like, oh, I mean, mama's heart, y'all, heart. And that was my highest rated story of the week because
it's real.
People love authenticity. So when you're challenging, don't keep filming yourself over and over and over. You're going to get frustrated. I think your audience might get frustrated and it takes so much time. Just lean into like, you're a real person. Everybody kind of says goofy stuff sometimes. And sometimes those are what your audience, because they kind of misspeak too. So they fall in love with that.
Yes. It becomes a natural flow. It does attract the right people. All right, let's jump in to our next question is how do you guys decide what to work on each day? So I think this could be a very deep question. Sarah, do you want to jump in first?
Oh, goodness. Yes, because mine is like, okay, let me just say, when you have properties, your day can get derailed like that, right? So typically on a daily basis, like I know, like I have to film content every single day, whether it is for a brand, it's for something coming up. And so I typically try to prioritize like my Simply Southern Cottage side of my life by making sure that I am meeting the deliverables of the brands that I work with. And then luckily for me, and I know KariAnne mentioned that she has a staff too. So I do have amazing virtual assistants that help me out. I have staff that help me out at my properties. And so they, for the most part, like can handle the real estate part of it. But there are times that things get derailed. Like we had a short-term guest with us one time, and she texted and she's like, there's a bear in the backyard. Okay. We live in the middle of like small town Louisiana. So my whole day is just gone trying to figure out how to get this bear out of my backyard. But for the most part, I do have tasks that I have to complete on a daily basis, and I have to stay on top of my content creation so that I can keep my brands happy, and therefore I can in turn, make an income from Simply Southern Cottage.
I like that. All right, Michelle, you want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. So for me, I start like with a brain dump of everything that needs to go on. So I'll prioritize like the due dates for the week of like my client work and my sponsor work. And then from there, I'll kind of like figure out tasks and then build in all of my other content that doesn't necessarily have like a deadline with it. So I work with the deadlines I have and then fill in from there. I also think I can accomplish a lot more than I can in a day. So like my to-do list on Monday for the day is like not even on the screen here. It's so long. Yeah. So I am very like flexible in moving things. But I like to have that view from 500 and then that view from like 2 feet away, to know what's going on.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. KariAnne, how about you?
So I have kind of like the way I schedule things, it's like circles is I guess how I look at it. So I have must-haves, like you must do this. These are like, I don't care if it's midnight, these are things that have to be done. And at the heart of those circles is my blog, because my blog to me, which the crack up, y'all, is so many people are like, oh, blogging, like who even does that anymore? And I giggle like, yeah, you keep thinking like, you don't even start a blog. It's
a lot of work. I know.
More for me. But anyway, so the blog is the heart of what I do. So I publish 5 times a week. I publish Mondays.
Oh, wow.
Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturday is a roundup and a recap of all of my favorite finds from the week. So if anybody is watching and you want to send me a fun project or craft, I'm happy to feature it on Thistle Keeping, which is my Saturday roundup. I would love to. And most of the people that I feature over there on Thistle Keeping, they get an average of maybe 2,000 to 3,000 page views from that craft. So if y'all have anything fun, send it my way. I love to feature, especially my audience loves fun crafts and ideas and all that fun stuff. So that's at the heart of what I do. So if it's Monday if it's Tuesday and I know I have a blog post, that is number one thing. The second thing that is kind of a must have is I discovered a long time ago within my little heart beats the heart of a QVC host. Like I love to sell people things, like not like a little love it, like it's so much fun. And so I am always planning out what is my next thing I'm going to sell? What is my next product? What is my next decorating thing? So I have to make sure for the next day I have planned out what I'm selling. So those are the 2 like must-have things I actually have to do. Everything else is kind of gravy. So if I am able to publish Instagram stories, rock on. If I'm able to publish a reel, rock on. If I'm able to put it on Pinterest and all of the things, rock on. But if I don't get those done, I give myself grace. As long as I get the heart of my business accomplished, everything else I look at as gravy, and I don't sweat it. I think we spend way too much time as small business owners feeling guilty. Like we didn't do enough. We should have done more. Y'all, you could spend all day and twice on Sundays doing it and y'all would not get it done. Like it is almost impossible to get everything done. So figure out what your heart is, like what you need to accomplish, and then give yourself grace for everything else.
I love that. I think that's a good burden lifter right there. That just because you didn't get done doesn't mean that you didn't accomplish something today. Also on that note of selling, I have to share this comment because it made me laugh. If you could sell your grandma. I think that is hilarious. Okay.
Wait, y'all, this is a true story. What I'm about to tell y'all, this is how shameful. Seriously, shame. So right before this call, this lady comes over to visit at my house, and she was just over here talking. And I have this really fun light that's under the stairs that when you open it with batteries, the light comes on. You don't need wires or anything. And so she was like, wait, what is this? And she opens the closet and the light comes on. She's like, oh, I need this. And I go, yes, you do. And by the way, here's my link. In case you're like,
Get it my Amazon shop, right?
and as you're walking through the rest of the house, anything else you like, I can happily send you a link.
Yes.
That's funny. You should do that. Like that should be one of your blog posts, is like my house tours, and then you can just randomly.
Shelly, there's just a few of those on here. Just a few of those.
There's already 37 of them. Okay, I'm a little slow, but I'm there.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
Okay, so our last question, and then we'll do some of the questions that I see popping up here is: as you level up and grow, what do you wish the younger you would have known sooner?
I've got it. Can I go first?
Yes, please.
Oh my goodness. For all you creatives watching, the biggest mistake I would say that I made just kind of as this journey to real estate investor, content creator, like started evolving, is that I didn't get help soon enough. And by the time I'm like, I've got to have help. Like my bookkeeping was a mess. My, content was all over the place. And so I wish I would have told myself, like, bite the bullet, make the investment, and get people on your team as soon as you can afford it, because then what will happen is you're able to scale faster. And so I became a content creator by proxy. Like I was a teacher, as I told you guys. This was not what I intended to do with my life. And here I am. And everything really started ramping up during COVID. And so it wasn't until about 2021, 2022 that I'm like, I am going to lose this entire ship if I don't put some tools and some resources into place now. And a big part of my income does go to pay my employees and my subcontractors. But I'm telling you what, it is worth every penny. So get help as soon as you see your business starting to scale.
Yes.
And I think this isn't mine, but to piggyback off of what Sara said, someone once told me, figure out what you don't like doing and try to get that off your plate first. Because once you can open yourself up to having a little bit more creative freedom, like your products or your content that you're putting out is definitely going to show it. Like, for instance, bookkeeping, that was something I absolutely despised it. That was one of the first things I offloaded. Like, if you're building out products in Lead Pages and Thrivecart, I do not like doing that at all. That was the first thing I gave my assistant when she came on. And that can be said for like your home too. If you're at like a financial point where, you find that like maybe you're not getting to deep cleaning like as often as you want. Are you at a point where you can have a cleaner come in for your home? So it's like getting those mundane tasks off your list that, like, if you're treating yourself as a CEO of a larger company doing these things, and it is a big mind shift and giving up control. And I had a lot of issues with that at first, and now it's just kind of freeing.
I think that's true. It's that to-do list that's in the back of our mind, I think, can weigh us down. And that's a good way to lighten that up, which then your creativity and your brain can all go towards those new ideas and things that are making you money.
Yeah.
Okay. So, KariAnne?
I think I would tell that super cute young girl, like, not to worry about the numbers. Now, and if you're listening to this, you're probably like rolling your eyes at me like, really? That's easy for you to say, but I tell you the truth, because here is the thing. The one thing I have learned from doing this for 12 years, if you gave me 1,000 loyal followers, I could rule the world. I have been on brand campaigns. I have done things with people that were 5 times my size, huge, giant creators. And my little community comes through every single time. They come through because I have spent years pouring into them and celebrating their wins and, encouraging them and lifting them up, and which is my heart anyway. I love doing stuff like that. So it wasn't, I didn't set out to do that. I just am by nature a person who loves community. And so a long time ago, I started leaning into my community. And there are times when, I'll go and look at my numbers and it's like something will happen, and then there are times I can look at my numbers. I'm like, oh, well, it's a good day to be me. And none of that matters in the long run, because if you don't have influence over your audience, it makes your job so much more challenging. In other words, if you have people that you have poured into, that you have lifted up, that you have celebrated, and then it comes time for you're doing a brand deal or a sponsorship, or you're sharing something that's fun, and you're like, this is really kind of life-changing to me. You have built up that trust with your audience. And that's way more important than having a bunch of numbers that are inflated or that aren't important, or people that don't care about you, or people that are just randomly following your platform because they're not even really following. They're just a number. The numbers, we live in a world where numbers have value sometimes, but I wish I could tell that person, don't even worry about the numbers. It's irrelevant. You should be concerned about your community, because that is how you're going to monetize your brand, is through your community.
Mm-hmm. Then that makes the numbers show up when you have
yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Michelle, did you have one? I think we kind of touched on.
So for me, I would tell myself to follow your passions. I am a bit of an ADHDer, and as I look back on my blog and my content, it started out crafting, and then it kind of progressed as I progressed in my life. I bought my first home, and then we did DIY and renovations, and I'd been hearing this advice, through all of these summits, or back then it was Periscope and whatever the new thing was. And it was always to niche down. And for years I was like, okay, I'm a silhouette crafter. Okay, I'm a Cricut crafter. And then I realized I was more burnt out the more I put myself into a box. So I think it was probably 2019 where I was like, you know what? The people that are following me are here for me. And I am just going to authentically show my life, and whatever passions come from that, that's what I'm going to lean into. And, the pandemic happened. Getting craft supplies was hard. I just finished a kitchen renovation. I couldn't move on to another project in my house, and I just pivoted to food. And that really changed my business. And if I didn't give myself that permission to follow my passion, then I don't think I would have the audience or the community that I have now. And the same thing where if you're showing your passions online, I traveled, I think last year, 10 or 11 weeks out of the year, and I shared it on my stories. And there was a whole plus size community out there that was like, how are you doing these trips? Are you doing Disneyland? They didn't realize that these opportunities were for them too, and they were letting certain things keep them at home. And that has now opened up an entirely new business for me, where I'm now doing these guided tours and traveling with my followers. So we're about to announce our 3rd trip, and at the end of the week, I'm going to Ireland with 10 awesome ladies. And if I didn't share all these passions, and if I didn't follow them, I would just still be in my little craft room at my house making things on my Cricut. And, I love my Cricut. It's gotten to me where I am, but I'm so much more than my niches.
And I think maybe do you guys all agree with this, that we start out with that niche to kind of start to find our people, and then our people kind of guide us along with your passions. And that's how we end up to be not just that one thing.
Yeah. And if you're constantly just doing if your niche is hair bows, 10 years into it, you might be a little burnt out on hair bows. So, I mean, to keep that passion alive
I
on
like
just one thing is very hard.
so much more than my niche. And I think that means whether it's a success or not a success, because sometimes we lean into that niche and it doesn't go as planned.
Oh, yeah.
You're so much more than that. Okay. I love that. And I also think part of the thing that I would tell myself too is a lot of times I would have fear over something like I don't know how to do taxes on my planners. How am I going to ship them? I mean, I'll just do digital or something like that. And I think just acknowledging that fear was a lack of education. And once I figured it out, if somebody else was doing it or if somebody else isn't doing it, that just means that I need to dive in a little bit more. Okay. We do have a few questions. Are you ladies ready? Does anybody have anything they want to add before we jump into some questions? No, we're good? Okay. This replay for this, before we tackle the questions, will be available here on YouTube. If you are a VIP, then it will be available in your VIP portal after we get it processed and we'll put it in there. So you'll always have access to that. If you don't have a VIP ticket yet for the Creativepreneur Summit, we will go ahead and drop that in the comments here in just a sec. And you guys can register. If you're not registered, if you're registered for free, you can grab the VIP, or we'll also drop the free registration too. But I want to jump into some questions or just some comments. So now I'm looking at the comment tab. Do I start at the top? Do I start at the bottom? Lots of great comments that they loved, all the things that you shared. And I think also just acknowledging that everybody on the journey beginning, people we are looking up to, that they're also struggling sometimes with that burnout. But Margie says, I pre-record my videos on Fridays for the following week, which allows me to be free and create if I have appointments. I think it's that stress of the to-do list, which isn't an actual stress. I feel like a lot of times that burnout or overwhelm, like we talked about, comes from just our own mindset. Okay, so magic in the making. What are your favorite apps or tools to keep you organized, both in your business and in your personal business?
I saw that one, and I have a real simple answer. And KariAnne and y'all may be like more advanced than me, but I just use a color-coded Google Calendar. That's all I do. So
I love it.
Mine is the Notes app.
Yeah.
Notes app across everything. So I have my phone, my iPad, my iMac, and my computer or my laptop, and like everything I need, I just put it in there and search for it. It's the simplest thing.
Well, and y'all, I have tried 50 zillion things. Like like if any of y'all are selling planners, I'm your girl, because I'll go buy the planner and then it'll sit there and I won't do anything with it, because just what Sara said, I'm laughing so hard because that is my life, the color-coded calendar. Now, the one tip, here's where I get crazy, is I use the little task bar on the calendar and make myself a list, because I'll do like to check things off. So I'll make the list, and then you can just check off the bubbles on the side of the calendar, but it's all within that calendar. And then the little notifications pop up, and I'm with y'all. That's pretty much what I use. So same situation.
But I'm an old school planner person. So I need to have my planner I can write in. And then I have the big blotter on my desk here at the studio, because I find when I actually write it, it's something that like it goes in my head versus like if I type it, it doesn't. And I'm like, I don't know why that is, but I need to physically write.
It's how we're designed, I think.
I know, it's always so interesting.
You are literally like #goals for me, because that's what I want. I want what you just said is my hope. Every year I buy that. I mean, I can pull it out right now and show y'all. And I think I like to write. I'm going to do it. And then I do it. I go strong for like 4 days. And then I'm like,
oh, that's funny. You need a reminder in your digital calendar to go write it down.
But for other tools, if you guys have websites, and I know Shelly, we're both into this, is Clarity. that kind of keeps me organized for like my tasks on the back end of my site. And then if I am doing my lists digitally, I do like Trello.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because then you can move things and then move them back or move them forward.
Yeah. The digital Post-its, I think, is the best way to describe that type of program. Okay. We have another question. I always have a problem trying to ask for help. A single mom our entire life. Now he's 29. But how do you overcome that asking for help?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think, Beth, I really feel like there are so many people that find joy in helping other people. And I'm one of those people. Like, I would rather so much more give help than anything else. And there are so many people so I think if you flip the script in your mind a little bit and thought of, instead of you're asking for help, like you're inconveniencing the people, some people you ask for help and it brings them joy and allows them to help you. And then you can turn around and help other people as well. But I mean, I get it 100%. Nobody really likes to ask for help because then we feel vulnerable, like we're not doing enough, but you are already enough. And I think allowing someone else to come alongside and be part of your journey and be full of joy at that. And, you could pour into them and just the gratitude that they get. There are a lot of people that they get a lot of gratitude from helping others. And so why not let people help you?
And I just want to add to that, Beth, like I am with you. I'm very type A. I'm very independent. I did not want to let go of things in my business for fear that it would go sideways or whatever. But lucky for me, like I've found the right people to be on my team. And I will tell you, if you can just get over that hurdle of asking for help, it will be so freeing to you. And you will wish you would have done it sooner. I can almost guarantee you that.
Yes. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I am very, like, much a control freak, and I am not good at asking for help. I think on my stories from yesterday, I literally have a story that says that I'm not good at asking for help. And when it came to my business, the first people that I hired were people that were already in my community and that were actually local. Because having someone here tangibly at the studio was almost easier for me than having someone virtually, just because of my personality type. So knowing your personality type is a big thing. And then if you're in like this creative community locally, or like you have a family member or anything, like my sister is my second writer for my blog. I'm helping her by hiring her so she can, like, she's building a cottage up in Maine. So like that's building some income for her. And I have the trust in her. And I was actually able to sit down, teach her SEO, or she's my sister. I can be like, hey, Jenny, like, what did you do on this? Like, let's backtrack. And like, so for me, just knowing myself and the control freak I am, hiring people I knew from life really helped me. And then my one person that is remote, she was a friend of a friend. And I did get to know her on Marco Polo over the years. So she's been with me now like almost 3 or 4 years. And we communicate via like video chat on there. So like she is actually one of my friends now that I text and whatever every day. She's a Swiftie like me. So I think gaining that trust, but for me it was, do this with people and then you can start to branch out a bit. So if you are that control freak, I hope that helps, but I'm still not as good as it.
Okay, so wait, I'm just curious because Sara just said she's type A. Michelle, you said you're type A. So I am the opposite of type A. So what is that, like type Z? Like what's the opposite of type A?
I know.
Actually, it's funny. Y'all were saying we have trouble asking for help. And I was literally about to say, you know what, y'all, I do not mind asking for help. And if anybody, I need a lot of help. So if anybody wants to help me, y'all come alongside, please, because I need as much help.
But don't you guys feel, Michelle and Sara, now that you've offset some of the tasks and pass some of that stuff on, doesn't it make that asking for help a lot easier?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like
So
I'm already like, what else can I give away to somebody else to do? Like I'm always looking how I can offload things, always.
Yeah. And I think that goes when you are hiring, and this scared me the first time I'd hired someone to help me, and it just made my life harder. So I think paying attention to that when you hire somebody or you contract with somebody, if they're not making your life easier, it's just not a good fit. And it's not that they're bad. It's not, maybe step back and make sure that you are giving them the tools they need. And maybe you guys need to pivot some, but if not, how's that saying go? Like hire slow, fire fast.
Mm-hmm.
So
can I tell a quick story about KariAnne?
Yes.
I know. She's like, what? Okay.
Maybe.
I will make this short. And the point of this is you need to have mentors and people in your life that you can ask advice about. And KariAnne, I don't even know if you remember this, but probably about 3 years ago, you spent some time with me on the phone and we talked about this specific subject. And I'm like, I've got this, and this happening. Like I have got to offload some of these tasks. And so KariAnne then returned a list of agencies, people that she would recommend. And I connected with one of my now virtual assistants. And so the point of that being is ask others who are in your field and are in your niche for names and recommendations of people that they have used, that they have trusted, and then go directly to that source. And you can just about bet it's going to be reliable, as it was in my case. Thank you, KariAnne.
I love it. She's like relieved over there that story went well.
No telling what kind of story Sara could tell. Like no telling.
That's too funny. You know what? I think we will do kind of a help wanted post in the Facebook group. So if you are an attendee of the Creativepreneur Summit, jump over to the Facebook group, find that post, and then you can say, I need help with this, or I offer help with this. So
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's all about community, right? Okay, we have a few more questions, but I want to also make sure that people know where they can connect with you. So Sara, let's jump into yours first. Do you want to tell us about Pink Creatives?
Yeah, so sure thing. So in addition to doing real estate and content creation, I have a dear friend, Wendy Conklin. You may know her as Chair Whimsy online. She creates these amazing chairs. And so over the last 3 years, we have developed a business called Pink Creatives. And in essence, we provide a 3-day retreat where we bring in a small group of women and we teach them how to be successful business owners. And the beautiful part about this is that we pull back the curtains on our business. We tell you how much money we're making, how we do it, where we messed up, what are things that are the most successful for us. And so we do have a retreat coming up in October. And then if you happen to be anywhere around Minden, Louisiana, this Wednesday, we do have a Power Day event coming up. And or we do have a webinar tomorrow night, and we're going to teach you how to create viral reels. And so all of that information is on pinkcreatives.com. It's on my Facebook page or Facebook and Instagram pages in stories today. And then one more shameless plug. If you find yourself up and down I-20 this summer, we are right directly between Dallas and Jackson. I would love to host you at my properties. And that website is mendenstays.com.
It's so cute. If you can get to her, I mean, go out of your way if you have to, but go stay in her cottages.
Thank you.
And I know we have a pink gal here in the comments.
Hey, Sharon. Yay.
I need to share that. Okay, so let's, Michelle, do you want to share? I know you have a newsletter, so they can jump on that. Go ahead.
You can find me over on YouTube doing like long form crafty tutorials. And then Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, I'm on them all. So yeah. And then if any of you guys are looking for, traveling in the future, you don't have anyone to travel with, I have 2 upcoming trips. I'm doing a Christmas market in Germany and Austria. It is 7 days. We are hitting all of the Christmas markets along that route. And I'll give you guys a sneak peek, but later this week, I am announcing a trip next April to the Galapagos. So it is like snorkeling with turtles. We'll see flamingos. It's going to be an amazing, like, wildlife beach kind of trip, and I am so excited for it. And then I have another trip happening in the fall of 2025 that I haven't announced yet. So lots of fun things happening. So if you find yourself wanting to travel and do a solo trip, or wanting to go with like your mom or a group of friends, this next trip this week, we have a group from like late 20s to like retirement age of like 65 to 68. So it is a gamut of people that go.
I love it. And sometimes finding somebody that can do it, or you just want to meet new people. And I love how this journey that you have started with a cutting machine, and now you're going to different countries and touring. I love it. Love it. Okay, KariAnne.
Okay, so
everybody about all of your stuff. So cute. I love this book. If you guys haven't seen this, we did drop the link. You can get it on Amazon, and then we dropped the link to Walmart. But she has such fun books.
Y'all are so sweet. I actually have my 7th book coming out in September. So, but then you can find them in bookstores everywhere. You can also find them on Amazon, of course, and Walmart, Target, all that fun stuff. But what I really wanted to talk about was one of the things that is my heart. It is my joy. It is kind of like I have this superpower, y'all. And my superpower is, if you tell me that you have a business idea, or you tell me that you have a platform, I can figure out a way for you to make money. It's like it just pops into my brain, and I think of it, and I'm like, we should try this. And sometimes it's a little random, sometimes it's out of the box, but I love showing people how to monetize their platforms. And so to that end, if you go to my blog, thistlewoodfarms.com, at the top, there's a little button you can click on, and you could book a one-on-one consult with me, where I will hear your entire story. I will look at your platforms, and together we will come up with a successful action plan to help you start making money. Like, literally, you'll be running off the call with me. I've done over 3,000 of them, and you'll be running off the call with me, and Sarah's done one.
Yes, do it.
So it's just, and like, I'm not scary. Like, y'all could talk to me. I am not a scary person. I am only full of joy and fun. It's so fun. And together we can really, if you're really looking to kickstart your business or figure out a way to make money, I just want to come alongside you and be honored to be part of your journey. But again, it's thistlewoodfarms.com, and you can look in the very top. There's a little tab that says consulting, and you can click on that. And then one of my assistants will get back to you to book a time.
I love that. And is that different than your mastermind?
Yes, it's completely different. I also do have a master. It's like enough. Like, okay, Corey.
You can go on and on. How many?
You say 27 revenue streams?
27 revenue streams.
Goals.
Yeah. So we put that one in the comments too.
Don't forget QVC host. Don't forget.
Yeah. We all have to have a dream, right? I love it. And I think, Sarah, we kind of skipped over your series on your remodels.
Oh, wait, what you talking about? TV?
Yes.
I don't have a series. I wish I did, but I have been on HGTV, Hometown Kickstart, and then most recently, I was just on Magnolia Network, an episode of In with the Old. And so I would love a series. So send the people my way.
Did I say series?
You're going to speak it into existence. It's coming.
Yes.
I mean, that's how we start. You start with one, and then they become two, and then
that's right. Well, I've done two. So
yeah, very, very cute. Okay, so let's jump back into some questions. This comment I thought was good, so I want to throw that up. But what the hand writes, your brain tends to remember.
Yes.
And that was kind of going back to that planning. And I think a lot of us work that way. Not everybody's brain does, but I think a lot of us do. Somebody else talks about they use bullet journal. So Kelly shares, super, super useful. I know a lot of people who do it. But
so that's basically how I do my planners.
Yes. And I think the digital planner that KariAnne talked about, I think that's kind of the digital form. Also, a little shout out to everybody. Very inspiring. So if you guys want to throw them some hearts. Um, okay, I'm just reading through, and then the comments just keep scrolling and scrolling.
Let's go. Let's go.
They're all so motivating. I love it. It's been very fun. I hope you guys found some relief, some way to, when you know, just I think acknowledging when you're feeling overwhelmed is kind of the biggest step to that. Not overwhelmed. I don't know if that's actually a thing in entrepreneurship, but sometimes there's that level of overwhelm that's negative, and then sometimes there's just that fun, busy to-do list that we have every day, right? Maybe we can do a little bit of advice. So Mrs. Crafty Designs, she struggles with social media content and videos. She's done getting less than 10 likes or views. And I'm sure I'm missing something. I think I would just say, keep going. We all started with only 10 views, or it's like that ad. Do you remember that insurance ad that I'm going to post this and I'm going to get tens and tens of views?
Yeah.
But do you guys have some advice when you're first starting out?
I think one of the big things for me was find your people and engage with others in your community. I mean, that's how I grew my platform, right? Is, I found KariAnne, and I can almost always comment on her, plan on her liking and commenting on my content every day, and I reciprocate. So if you can find people in your niche that you can build that relationship with, then you and she or he can, comment, engage, and then it'll boost your account out further in the algorithm. So find your people.
Yeah.
Well, and I think to that point, if we're talking about Instagram, I'm not sure which platform she was talking about, but there's a thing called a power hour. And if y'all don't know about it, 1000% y'all should be doing it. So when I wake up, well, first of all, I have to, of course, coffee, please.
Yes.
And then before any functioning happens. But so I get on there, and to Sarah's point, exactly. I post my reel, and then I sit there and I go through my feed, and I comment and I comment and I comment and I comment and I comment. And then what happens over time, those people come back and they'll start commenting, and then you'll just start building relationships. And then you have this base of comments. And if you do it right when you post, then Instagram, to Sarah's point, recognizes like, wait, this is a popular post. And then it starts pushing it out. And then more people also too should be looking at your reels to see what percentage of people are followers and what percentage of people are non-followers. And sometimes that can help you determine like, wait, Instagram pushed this out to a lot of people that are not following. You can go look in your analytics. Why did they push it out? What is it about this piece of content that's sending it out to other people that are not following you? And then maybe even post more content like that to get seen by more people.
Yes. I think also the quality of the content that you're putting out, the more that you create content and you do it on a consistent basis, one, the better you're going to get, specifically with videos. And keeping yourself consistent is showing whatever platform that you're on that you're like a content creator that's showing up consistently every day, every other day, whatever that may be. And I think that's the hardest part, is to not get discouraged by only reaching, these 10 likes, because it will eventually come. And I'm a person where I think it was 2019, I finally hit like 10K on Instagram. Like, there's no magic to get there. And then once you do get there, 10K was the hardest. And now I'm at almost 150,000 and 850,000 across all platforms. So it doesn't happen overnight. It took me almost 8 years, I think, to get there. And you're just seeing people, like, comparison is a thief of joy. You're seeing people that, you think may have come up quick, but it could be 8 years behind that. Or they came up quick because it was a viral reel and none of those people are really engaged. So I think what KariAnne said, and you actually said this at a conference once that I was at, I think it was Haven. And it was that 1,000 people. If you can get, 100 people, 1,000 people to be kind of your biggest fans, or your community, or in the corporate world, we used to call it like your evangelists, where they truly connect with you and build that authenticity, those 1,000 people are worth a lot more than those 100,000 people.
And can I say one more thing? I know we're running out of time, but I just had another brilliant thought in my brain. Okay. So I think this is so, I was thinking back to like, there I am. I'm this brand new blogger and I'm so nervous. And I went to Haven. It was so scary. And like, you're overwhelmed. And I was thinking at that juncture, what made me grow? What made me get bigger? What made me decide that this could be a business? What? And it boils down to one word, which is peeps. Like, this is a very lonely journey if you don't have friends to come alongside you. So right now, if y'all are sitting there and you're like, well, where do I get these peeps from? Where do I get friends from online? You're like, I have tons of friends in real life, but trying to find people online is a little bit challenging. So what I would do is kind of like Sara and I were talking, like I'm commenting on Sara, she's coming back on me, but I would look to maybe even in this group, you could find people, but somehow putting together a little tiny mini mastermind of people. So you'd have like 5 people. Y'all would meet once a week or once every couple weeks, go on Zoom. Everybody brings a tip. Everybody brings a goal and everybody brings a win. And just sharing wins and goals and tips with people, you will be shocked at how quickly you grow, because when you're trying to do it all by yourself, it is a lonely, lonely journey. But all you need are just a few people to come alongside you and celebrate with you. And then you'll realize, like, wait, this is like fun. And then they'll give you tips and y'all can all grow together, because together we all rise. We all rise together.
I love that. We do have, I know Sarah's got to run. So before you jump off, Sara, Judy says she's really close to Minden. What was the event happening in Minden?
Oh yeah, I don't know what I mentioned. Sorry, I was trying to think back to that.
Whimsy. It was you and Cheer Whimsy.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. It's Pink Creatives Power Day, and that is this Wednesday. We still have some seats left. We have some villa rooms left too, if you wanted to come and stay the night before. But basically, it's a mini retreat that's smaller than our 3-day retreat. And we're going to talk about like how to make money in your business. What are the, 3 things that you must do now to get your creative business started? What are the 3 top mistakes that we made so that you won't meet them? And it's from 9 to 3 this coming Wednesday. And if you look at pinkcreatives.com, you'll see all the information.
Okay. That is great. That would be so fun. If it didn't take me 3 planes to get there, I would come.
I did next time.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you. We do have a couple more questions, but I know, Sara, you needed to go. So if you
I'll hang tight for just like 3 more minutes, and then I do have another call. So
okay. So let me get through 2 more questions I saw. What is the best platform to sell?
Like affiliates?
Let's talk about affiliates and products. So if it was products, I would say start with Etsy, because they have people for you. Work into Shopify. But if we're talking about affiliates, or I'll let you guys jump in here.
So I don't have a physical product that I sell per se, but I do the bulk of my affiliate income on Amazon and Walmart.
And then you get those sales by sharing on your social media.
Correct.
And your email lists.
Correct. Yes.
And I think KariAnne, you're probably and Michelle, you guys are probably the same way, right?
The exact same way. I use LTK and I use Amazon, and there's a lot of gold in Amazon. If you're not selling on Amazon, and oh y'all, it is the greatest day of our lives to be us selling on Amazon. There is so much revenue to be made off of something that starts with an A and ends with an N. It is so amazing.
Correct. We're in the selling era, right? Isn't that what they say?
So for me, the platform that does the best for selling is actually Facebook. And whether that's like tangible, like my own product, which I did have a membership. I've just discontinued it last month. But I'd say Facebook, and then my Instagram stories is where I sell a lot. I would say many chats, using the feature where you can comment on Instagram to get a link sent directly for you has been a game changer to affiliate income for me. And then for platforms, I was doing a lot on LTK, but I've noticed now that my percentages are higher if I go through something like Mavely or Howl. Or right now I'm directly in the Walmart Creators Program through Walmart and the Target Creators Program as well.
Yes. And just do some Googling or find those people that are, in your little niche, like KariAnne talked about, and start sharing. There's, I think, having more than one income if you're selling a product, whether it be physical or digital, but adding in those other streams, like KariAnne said, 27, that's our goal all for next time.
And I think don't underestimate the power of a freebie. So like if you are a digital product person, if you give something away for free to like your email subscribers, you can then learn about tripwires and tripwire them into a product. So things like lead pages and Thrivecart, those are going to be your friends for kind of going off of a free product to something that it's like when you're at the supermarket and like you're checking out and then you grab that one thing at the aisle when you're about to leave.
Candy bar that I can eat it doesn't count because nobody saw me eat it. That one little upsell. And I think when she said tripwire, if anybody wasn't sure what that meant, so it's that here's something for free or here's something for this price and then here's something that goes with it. So again, when you're going through that checkout line, very common. All right.
I do need to hop off. I'm so sorry. I have another call I've got to get on. So
well, thank you. You're busy, and we appreciate you taking time to be here. And we will all. Everybody. Yes, her links are in everybody's links are in the chat, so you guys can go ahead and grab those whenever this will be here for a couple of days, so you guys can come back and grab those and connect with them, follow them on our social medias. And then we have one more live tomorrow at 2:00. So you guys can hit subscribe to We Can Make That YouTube channel, and then you'll get a notification when that one comes up too. All right. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate you joining us, and everybody have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much for having us.